My name is Firun. I'm 80 years old, and I want to begin by telling you something about affirmations that most people never hear before they start practicing them. The affirmations that actually change your life are not the ones you repeat loudly with forced enthusiasm. They are not the ones you perform in front of a mirror while trying to override what you actually feel. They are not declarations of a future state you are pretending is already present. The affirmations that genuinely reshape the inner life are the ones you enter honestly, with real presence, with the willingness to let their truth slowly enter the body rather than just pass through the intellect. I know the difference because I spent years doing the first kind. And I know what the second kind actually produces, because I finally, late in life, discovered how to practice them in a way that was real. Maybe you have tried affirmations before and found them hollow. Maybe the words felt like lies rather than truths. Maybe something in you resisted them, because they claimed a peace or a strength you genuinely did not feel. If that is true, stay with me, because what I want to share are not techniques for convincing yourself of something false. They are 5 practices of honest inner orientation that, said with genuine presence every morning, begin to change the ground you stand on. I was born in northern Thailand and entered monastic life as a young man. The monastery was full of words, chants, prayers, teachings, recitations, and for a long time I participated in all of them, without fully understanding the difference between words that pass through the mind and words that entered the being. That difference, I eventually learned, was not about the words themselves. It was about the quality of presence you brought to them. The same sentence, spoken with half attention while thinking about something else, produces almost nothing. Spoken with genuine, full attention, with the body settled, with the breath slow, with genuine willingness to let the meaning arrive, it produces something entirely different. It becomes not performance, but contact. And contact, genuine contact with a true idea in an honest moment, is what changes things. The first affirmation is this: today I choose to be present with what is here. Not what should be here. Not what I wish were here. Not what was here yesterday, or what I hope will be here tomorrow. What is actually here. This sounds simple. It is not. Most of the mind's suffering comes from its refusal to be fully present with what is actually occurring. It adds comparison, resistance, complaint, memory, anticipation to every moment. And all of that adding creates a version of reality that is heavier and more painful than the actual moment itself. When you say, with genuine intention, today I choose to be present with what is here, you are not pretending that everything is perfect. You are choosing to stop adding unnecessary suffering to what is real. You are choosing to meet the actual moment rather than the elaborated version of it that the mind creates. Said slowly, with real breath behind it, this affirmation begins to orient the nervous system differently for the entire day. The second affirmation is this: my mind is not always showing me the truth. This is perhaps the most important and most underused of all inner practices. We tend to operate as though our thoughts and perceptions are accurate reports of reality, but they are not. They are interpretations filtered through conditioning, through old wounds, through fear, through the particular story the mind has been telling about who we are and what we deserve. When you say each morning, "My mind is not always showing me the truth," you are not undermining your capacity to think clearly. You are introducing a healthy skepticism toward the automatic authority your thoughts carry. You are reminding yourself, before the day's events begin, that what feels like reality is often interpretation. And that small reminder, held gently through the day, creates the gap between thought and belief in which genuine freedom begins to grow. You know what surprised me most about this practice? How much energy I had been spending defending thoughts that were not even true. Once I began to hold them more lightly, once I began to see them as events rather than facts, my inner life became considerably less exhausting. Not because the thoughts became fewer, but because I was no longer obligated to act on all of them as if they were commands from some supreme authority. The third affirmation is, I release what I cannot control and tend what I can. This is the heart of the Buddhist understanding of suffering. Most suffering, when examined honestly, comes from the attempt to control what is not yours to control. Other people's choices, the behavior of circumstances, the pace of change, the outcome of things you have set in motion. All of that effort and anxiety and resistance is genuinely costly, and none of it produces what it promises. The release this affirmation practices is not passivity. It is precision. It is the recognition that your genuine sphere of influence is your own attention, your own choices, your own responses. When you say each morning, I release what I cannot control and tend what I can, you are not giving up. You are becoming more effective by concentrating your energy where it can actually produce something. Said with genuine intention, this affirmation begins to redirect the enormous energy that anxiety about uncontrollable things consumes toward the actual work of living. The fourth affirmation is one of the most ancient in the Buddhist tradition, and it is one that took me the longest to be able to say with genuine honesty. May I be well. May I be at peace. May I be free from suffering. This is the beginning of the loving kindness practice. And I want to say something about this that most teachers skip over. Many people find it harder to direct genuine care toward themselves than toward others. There is something in us that has learned to withhold that care, that believes care must be earned, that treats self-compassion as indulgence or weakness. And so, when we try to say, "May I be well," with genuine feeling, something resists. Something says, "You have not done enough to deserve that." Notice that resistance. It is one of the most important things to see, because the part of you that withholds care from yourself is the same part that makes healing difficult, that keeps old wounds active, that prevents genuine rest. The affirmation is not about pretending you deserve something you have not earned. It is about recognizing that every being, including you, has a fundamental right to well-being. Said slowly, with real breath, with genuine willingness rather than performance, this affirmation begins to soften something that has been hard for a very long time. And here's what I want to say about extending this outward. After directing genuine care toward yourself, extend it. May those I love be well. May those I struggle with be free from suffering. May all beings everywhere find peace. This extension is not spiritual performance. It is the recognition that you are not separate from the rest of life, that your peace is genuinely connected to the peace of those around you, and that practicing genuine care for others, even briefly each morning, reshapes the inner weather for the entire day. The fifth affirmation is, today is enough. This is the one that I practice most carefully in my old age, because it touches the most persistent habit of the mind I have encountered across 8 decades of living, the habit of not enoughness, the sense that what is here is somehow insufficient, that more is needed, that the peace you have earned is not quite enough, that the understanding you have reached is not quite there, that the love you have received has not quite filled the space that needs filling. This affirmation, today is enough, does not claim that your life is perfect or that your growth is complete. It claims something more specific, that this day, as it is, with what it contains, is a real and valid and sufficient expression of life, that the presence you can bring to it is enough, that the practice you can do today is enough, that the person you are right now is enough to begin with and to work from. What most people don't realize is that the affirmation, today is enough, is not about settling for less. It is about inhabiting what is real, rather than perpetually running toward what is not yet real. The person who is always reaching for a future self, always living in anticipation of the version of themselves they are trying to become, never quite arrives in the life they are actually living. And an unlived life, however carefully constructed in imagination, is the great loss that this affirmation is designed to prevent. Let me say something about how to actually practice these 5 affirmations in a way that produces something real, rather than something that simply passes through. The first requirement is genuine physical stillness. Sit somewhere quiet. Let the body settle. Take several slow breaths before saying anything. Let the nervous system begin to move out of urgency mode before you introduce any content. The body must be ready to receive before the words can have any effect. The second requirement is genuine attention, not divided attention, not saying the words while simultaneously thinking about the day ahead or yesterday's unresolved conversation. Full attention to each word as it is said or thought. If your mind wanders, bring it back. This is not failure, it is the practice. Each return to genuine attention is where the actual work happens. The third requirement is patience. These affirmations do not produce instant transformation. They produce gradual reorientation. The mind that has been organized around a particular way of seeing itself and the world for decades does not reorganize overnight because of 5 sentences said in the morning. But the same sentences, said with genuine presence, return to honestly when you notice they have been forgotten during the day, accumulate over weeks and months into something genuinely different. Not a new identity, an expanded one. One that includes more honesty, more care, more presence, more trust in the sufficiency of what is already here. At 80 years old, I say these 5 affirmations every morning. Not loudly, not with dramatic feeling, quietly, with the particular kind of attention that old age has finally given me the patience to bring. And the effect is not the absence of difficulty. Difficulty still comes. Old patterns still sometimes appear. Hard days still arrive. What changes is the inner weather within which all of those things occur. The ground is different, steadier, more honest, more genuinely at rest in its own being than it was when I was younger and still trying to perform my way to a peace that could only be found by genuinely returning to it, one honest morning at a time. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 affirmations speaks most directly to what you need right now. And if this message gave you something real to begin your mornings with, stay close to this space, because the quality of how you begin each day matters more than most people realize. And building that beginning with genuine honesty rather than performed positivity is one of the quietest and most reliable paths to the inner life you are actually looking for.